Hello and welcome to the SciShow talk show, the SciShow episode where we talk about things with cool people. Today, we're talking with Denver Holt, who is the founder and director of the Owl Research Institute. Hardcore, old school science right here on my couch right now. We're really pleased to have you.
Thanks, appreciate being here.
So you have been studying owls for about as long as I've been alive.
Is that right? Well, yeah, no, it's been a while. I mean, it's been 30 years or so. And yeah, it's good. We've got a number of major projects, and it's a good group of animals, a very charismatic group of animals, and very popular. You know, I mean, in the world of animals,
Yeah.
Owls are right up there. You know, you have things like owls, penguins, whales, koala bears, panda bears, a few other things, and they're probably one of the most popular groups of animals in the world.
Well, I have a couple of times in my life come across an owl in the wild, and it is a very special thing. It's very unexpected, especially when it happens in the daytime, and they do seem a little bit otherworldly.
Which ones did you come across? Did you recognize the species?
I've seen great horned owls. I grew up in Florida, and I think I saw a long-eared owl once at Nine Pipes, the wildlife refuge.
Were you in our study area?
I don't know if I was in your study. You do study?
Yeah,
I know
actually,
you study there.
we have a study up there.
Yeah, I went there with my wife for Valentine's Day, and we were just walking around. It was like right at a pull-off, and there's a tree right there, and then we were walking by and just looking at us.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, we've had a study on the long-eared owls in Missoula in the Mission Valley for 27 years now, and I think that's probably the longest year-round study on the species in North America and perhaps the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you study them year-round and continuously for 30 years. That, like, having that kind of uninterrupted data is so extremely important.
It is. It's you know, I mean, like when you introduced me as old-fashioned, maybe you're right. You know, we still go out in the field.
Yeah.
And we still conduct long-term research, and those are the things that are going to stand the test of time. You know, I mean, we're in a world now where people don't venture out as much as they used to in wildlife biology, but you know, we started as a field-oriented group, and we've remained a field-oriented group, and so we have data sets that run, you know, 15, 20, 25 plus years, and we'll continue to do that. And that's the only way we're going to be able to see trends, how animal populations are, you know, what they're doing through space and time. And also, you know, these days, you know, the buzzwords is always climate change. And so when you started these studies, these long-term studies, you're not thinking of climate change, and now it's part of it, so you can do it in retrospect and go back, and now you can look at climate data in relation to your long-term data. And maybe it'll add a little more meaning to it. And so it doesn't mean it's the cause and effect or anything, but at least you can look at it. Maybe there's some correlations.
So what are the mechanics of studying owls? First of all, I mean, they're pretty seclusive creatures. Like, it can be difficult to find them. How do you get out? Like, when you go out in the field, what are you looking for? How do you find an owl?
Yeah. Well, you know, a long time ago is, you know, when you were learning, it was a little more difficult. Now it's easier for us. But one of the things I think that everyone knows about owls is they hoot and toot. You know, we call them hooters and tooters and whistlers and all that stuff. But the big ones tend to hoot and the little ones tend to toot or whistle. So you develop these survey techniques using their primary vocalizations. And generally it's males trying to attract females. You know, same old story, different group of guys, you know, of animals. And so the vocalizations, the big ones are hooting and the little ones are tooting. So you might hear something like, which would be an eastern screech owl, or maybe you would hear, which would be a saw-whet. So you set up routes, you play the tapes or you listen, you have these protocols. Then when you get in an area where you're hearing the hooting, the tooting, the whistling, and you identify the species, and then you kind of come back there. And if they continue to do it for a period of time in the spring, when the onset of the breeding season, then you concentrate your efforts to look for nests. We've kind of can bypass that now, but we developed all that in the early years.
So you can bypass that because you know the nest.
Because we know, yeah. And we concentrate in those areas now for long-term research. But if we were to start it again, you know, if we went to Guatemala, you know, we'd say, okay, now we got to start it all over again and kind of learn where the owls are.
Right. I can't imagine that people don't want to do this. I know it's hard. I know you got to get up early in the morning and got to it's cold. You got to get your butt out there. But there must be people who want to do this kind of research.
Oh, yeah, there's tons of people that want to do it. You know, you got to, again, I think you alluded to a moment or two ago, the allure of the owl. And there's just something about it, you know, there's certain groups of animals, as I said, are very appealing. But one of the things about owls people love is they kind of look like us. You know, we have a symmetrical face, forward-facing eyes, a nose down curve, the ears, the hair that could be feathers. There's a certain allure in owls, and it's been there since the cavemen did cave drawings in France, you know, back in the Pleistocene or something like that, you know. So yeah, there is their allure. So we have tons and tons of people that want to join us in the field, whether they're students or adult volunteers.
As far as the way that wildlife research is going these days, do you think there are opportunities for students to get involved in this and to be, have a similar career path to you?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Jobs are limited, unfortunately. But, I kind of was, you might think I was a pioneer in the sense that, looking at the opportunities, I didn't want to be stuck in an office. Yeah. And so, like the traditional homes of research have always been federal, state, and university. And just, I have a lot of friends in it, but, they're kind of like office bound, and I didn't want to do that. So I started the Owl Institute, and which has been, very successful, very well known around the world now. And so my encouragement then to others is that start your own. You can do research in your backyard, and you look at the privatization of many things in the world, and private industry can be very competitive with, federal, state industry and things of that sort. So start your own research institute, and Missoula, Montana is a great place to exemplify that. If you really look around here, you can see other groups who have started their own research institutes, and whether it's wildlife or something else, and are working for themselves and can be very competitive in the market, things like that. So I always encourage that. Do what you want, be passionate, and go for it,
Fantastic. The good news is we do have a guest that we're going to share now. The bad news is it's not an owl. I hope you didn't think it was going to be an owl. We don't have any of those.
An owl?
But we
you don't have an owl?
We don't. We do have birds to share with you.
Okay.
Jessi from Animal Wonders, I don't know if you've met her, but she has brought some feathered friends for us to spend some time with.
Oh.
You may have heard them rustling around behind you.
I did.
I think when you made your owl call, they were like, "What was that?" Maybe a little worried. They are some natural prey of owls.
All right. Well,
so let's check these guys out. Jessi, who have you brought us?
This is Cornelius.
Oh my gosh.
Cornelius is a pigeon. Do you know where all pigeons came from?
Oh, Cornelius. Pigeons come from Pigeonia. Fictional. That's right? No, I don't know where pigeons come from.
The rock pigeon, Africa.
Okay.
They all originated from there. And when you think of a pigeon, you think of a gray body with those black stripes on its black bars on its wings. But pigeons are actually really neat because they have the most breeds out of any domesticated animal.
So they're domesticated. Well, yeah, I guess.
They have. Well, the rock pigeon has been domesticated, and we call those fancy pigeons.
Right.
And then there's between 800 and 1,100 different breeds.
That's a lot
pigeons.
of fancy pigeons.
That is so many of them, and they break them down into these groups. Some have, they focus on the crazy tails. There's fantail pigeons, and there's ones that focus on like how they can puff out their crest or their chest, their crop.
And they have some with just completely ridiculous inside-out feathers that must be uncomfortable.
Yeah, they have these the ruffled ones on the chest and all these
feathery feet here.
So this is a Duchess pigeon.
Duchess,
and she's actually a crossbred Duchess pigeon, and she's crossbred with a mixed breed, which we don't know what it is.
Yes.
But yeah, the Duchess pigeon has these pretty feathers on her feet, and we have some so not good for anything in the wild.
Yeah.
What happens is,
I guess snowy owls have feathers on their feet.
They do. They've evolved that for thermoregulation.
But I guess if you're, living in the snow all the time.
This is more for show, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This is for, if they were living in really cold climates all the time and they couldn't regulate their own temperature that way, that might help out, the snowy owls. But these guys were specifically bred. There's pigeons that live in the cold weather that don't have feathered feet.
Right. Yes.
What's really hard about it is that they get new feathers coming in. We call it blood feathers. It's like a little straw to their vein, and the feathers growing inside. And if they just step on it just a little wrong,
you've got a hole.
They break it, and then they'll bleed. So it's not a very handy thing to have.
Kind of dumb.
So it's a artificially selected trait that we give them.
I see so many pigeons, and they can be a bit of a pest sometimes. But
definitely,
this is a beautiful animal.
Isn't she pretty?
So iridescent, and so many different shapes you're taking yourself into.
Up and down, up and down. Yeah, so they can have that iridescent. They can have green or purple, and she has a little bit of both. Some will have just green iridescence, and some will just purple. Her beak is a little bit shorter than a regular rock pigeon would have, and she doesn't have those bars. Her mother was tan, and her father was white, pure white. My mother had 4-inch feathers on her feet. Yeah. They're pretty neat. She's our show pigeon, and she actually knows how to fly from hand to hand. Would you like to see if she'll fly to your hand? You have some
I
food
have some
there.
food in my hand.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
What do you see? Oh, hi. Well, nice to meet you.
You close your hand.
We can get you to go home. Oh, it's over there.
There she goes.
Trained.
She is trained, and let's see if she will do this. I don't know if she will. Can I stand up?
Yeah. Anybody
Maybe
can track
you can
her?
just see here. All right. Let's see.
What are you going to try to do?
Go. You can do it. Go. Yay! Good work, Cornelia. All right. Do you want to have her fly to your hand?
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. You
How
just hold your hand up.
This is not very far flight. You want me
Just a little one.
nice feathers on the feet. Yeah, very nice.
Now, Hank, you open your hand. And you close your hand, Denver.
Oh, just close it?
Just close it on up.
Sorry, buddy. Turn around.
Here she goes.
Nice to have you a visit. I'm going to have to get you back to Jessi, because otherwise, what's going to happen? Oh, that was just my...
Out of food.
That
There we
wasn't
go.
food. That was just my skin.
She was just eating.
There was nothing left.
And you can feel her. They're actually really soft.
Oh, you're the softest thing. I'd hate that. Stop doing that, is what she said.
I know, she doesn't like it
Not
that
a
much.
fan of that.
You want to pet her?
Well, I don't know. She's very nice.
You don't like pigeons?
No, they're nice. They're nice. I like them. Pigeon milk is important, and I was looking at the perfume, the iridescence. I was thinking about structural coloration while you were talking about it, and I was also thinking that the great horned owls would it'd be a good meal for a snowy owl. A lot of people use pigeons to trap snowy owls in the wintertime, and so I was admiring the bird for that as well. So.
They are a great food source for birds of prey. Yes, they are. Do you know how fast a snowy owl can fly?
No, I don't. But I know there's some observations of them tracking down peregrine falcons and flying after them and catching them and killing them and eating them. But these guys can fly fast.
Wait. Peregrine falcons were killing the snowy owls?
No, the snowy owls track the peregrines and kill them. But it doesn't happen very often.
Okay.
So they can fly pretty fast is what I was trying to say. But
yeah.
The pigeons are great flyers.
They can fly about 50 miles an hour. And there's breeds that are homing pigeons, which are really neat. And they can fly over 1,000 miles to their
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
location.
I know they've done all the magnetic orientation in pigeons experiments indicating that they can use maybe celestial signs and magnetic north and things
they
like
actually
that.
have a built-up iron right on top of their beak there that they can tie into.
Yeah, it's pretty. It really is neat,
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
How and wow. So, do you know why we originally domesticated pigeons?
Yeah, they were for message delivering.
So that was the original reason.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and meat source too.
Yeah.
So I would say actually meat came first, and then they
sense.
realized.
You don't have a lot of meat on you, but it's not nothing.
Well, they don't eat the adults.
Oh, what? It's like a sardine where you just put the whole thing in a tin and dissolve it in olive oil.
So the delicacy, have you heard of squab?
Yes.
That's a teenage pigeon.
Okay.
That is a pigeon right before it's starting to fledge. So it's like its parents have put tons of food into it,
Right.
and it's just mostly breast.
Interesting.
And it doesn't move around. It just sits in the nest all day, so it doesn't use its muscle. So that's the most tender, and it's a delicacy. And so that's where, we started farming them, and then we figured out that they could do this, the homing thing. And
But yeah, you're delivering, just like owls in Harry Potter deliver packages in real life. The pigeons are the deliverers of the packages.
Owl would be really cool.
Owl probably would carry a heavier load. But
maybe.
harder
to
to train to fly 1,000 miles to a specific location.
Definitely harder to train.
Yeah, I know people train them, but I don't know if they use them in messaging. The owls deliver their own magical message by their appearance, as in Harry Potter.
That's true. They're amazing animals, but they're very difficult to train. They don't have the same level of capacity.
Definitely for wildness. I think owls. Do people have pet owls? We probably shouldn't.
You
even
know,
talk about
that kind of came about, speaking of Harry Potter, when, all that came about, and there's, we did a piece for National Geographic back then, and everybody got a little doll, a snowy owl if you joined National Geographic. Well, what happened too with that came out, and the story came out, is that they were getting flooded with phone calls about, how can we get a snowy owl as a pet? Children all wanted snowy owls as pets, and it just was all over the place, So it had to be addressed nationally. No, you can't have snowy owls as pets, and for these reasons. And that. So just kind of interesting what became of it.
Yeah. Cornelius, thank you for coming on the show. It was a pleasure to have you. You are a sweetheart. You can go relax. I wish we could have heard you cooing. I love the sound of pigeons. I want my cell phone to make that noise. It's much more soothing than the noise my cell phone actually makes. Can you do a pigeon coo?
I don't know.
That's not what.
No, you're probably better at it than I am. I'm more of a hooter and a tooter.
I love that. Hooter and a tooter. They go, ooh.
Yeah. Denver, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and expertise, for coming out.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Really fascinated by the research you're doing. Thank you for doing it, and keep it going. I want to see 130 years of constant data coming out of this.
Like I say, come join us.
All right.
Take you out and show you how it happens in the field.
Great.
I really liked how you were talking about, do it yourself. If you're interested in something, pursue that, pursue your passion, and do it yourself. I really like that.
It's an important thing that I think we forget that we can do here, anywhere, So that's good to do. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for watching this episode of SciShow Talk Show. Jessi and Cornelius, you're awesome. If you want to check out Animal Wonders, there's a link to their YouTube channel in the description. If you want to learn more about the Owl Research Institute, you can go to owlinstitute.org. They have live streaming webcams during breeding season of owl nests, so you can see them in their natural habitat, doing their natural thing. And if you want to keep getting smarter with us here at SciShow, you can go to youtube.com/SciShow and subscribe.